Hi, are you ready for a machine vision solution? Maybe you're not. Hi, my name is Raghava Kashyap. I'm the CEO of Qualitas Technologies, and believe it or not, there are some preparatory steps to take before you're even ready to consider a machine vision or an AI solutions. And in this video, I'm going to break it down for you. There are three important aspects to be considered before you even start thinking about machine vision. Number one, come up with a clear business objective. Now, the most common mistake I've seen people do before actually implementing a machine vision solution is they don't have a clear business objective. What do I mean by a business objective? It's to either meet some kind of an ROI KPI or some kind of a metric that could be easily measured in terms of what success would constitute for this project. Oftentimes it's all about replacing an existing process, and replacing an existing process doesn't really meet the business objective standards because you're just doing what you're doing before. You're just automating what you're doing before. So you need to come up with some kind of a business objective that either sounds like I'm trying to reduce the cycle time of a certain process, or I'm improving the quality control coverage. What was earlier randomly sampled is now going to be 100% sample. Or it could be anything like reducing scrap in your assembly line. So in other words, catching mistakes early before certain processes are done in the manufacturing chain, which would be non-value added operations. So if you catch them early, then you'd be able to rework them and then prevent all these unnecessary post-processing that is being done, and then either having to reject it or scrap it. The second important criteria is not having the right pre-process automation in place. So an important aspect of any machine vision system is image acquisition. And in image acquisition, you need to make sure that your part is consistently presented to a camera for image acquisition. So if you have a high-speed processing line or something which a high-volume production line, you want to make sure that the camera is always taking the images of the parts to be inspected in a consistent and reliable way. And that can only be achieved if there is some sort of automation that's already existing. Now, oftentimes things are just dumped in a bin, or it's just lying around in a very disorganized way. And so you're not going to be able to capture consistent images unless they're going to be automated in front of a camera. The material movement is automated in front of a camera so that consistent images are going to be captured. And that's going to have a huge impact in terms of the quality as well as reliability of your machine vision system. If you don't do that step, you're going to later struggle in your image processing or any kind of accuracy improvements, because what could be simply an automation process is now going to be a complex software or a machine vision process that you need to then later on deal with. So ensure that you have the necessary pre-process automation in place before you even start thinking about machine vision. Number three, not having done your homework about machine vision. So if this is your first machine vision project, I strongly suggest that you do a certain amount of homework. Now, what homework is this? Understand the technology. Don't rely on just vendors or partners to come and do this magic for you. You need to be educated on what capabilities machine vision can and cannot perform. That's very important, because then you're not going to have unrealistic expectations, or on the flip side, you're not going to be leveraging the full power of machine vision when you actually implement your project. So educate yourself on what's possible, what's not possible. And oftentimes, don't rely on just Google search. Get an expert to come in, conduct a training, a formal training about the basics of machine vision. Understand what is, the constituents or components. So then you'll be able to also evaluate different proposals that come from vendors. Now, this information, background information, is very critical in ensuring that you're selecting the right vendors and ensuring that the right success metrics for your project is defined well before you actually undertake or implement this project. Another way to do your homework is to actually implement a pilot project. So here, the objective is just to install something and to perform a very simple task, just as a proof of concept or as a paid pilot, to demonstrate proof of working, that the system can actually perform a certain inspection and automate a certain visual task for your product. Now remember, every process or manufacturing company is going to be different. You can't expect something that worked in a different company, even though it's in the same industry, to magically work for you. So you need to ensure that you've experimented with either a pilot in a practical manner, and that's going to go a long way in educating you and your team in terms of what a machine vision system can do. So especially if this is going to be a first project. So hope these tips are useful, and if they're not, you're probably not ready, and you need to go back to the drawing board and prepare yourself before you start implementing a machine vision project. Thank you.